Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is August's T&C. So I just spend a little bit of time going over all things witchy related. So whether that is decks that I'm working with, things that I've bought, maybe books that I've read, like different things that I'm into for the month of August, right? So this has actually been a very, very, very busy month. There's been a lot of stuff that I have brought in and have worked with half of June, all of July, and a quarter of August. I was very consistent in working with tarot as color. That was like I was so in deep with that deck. I was so in love with it, and I was spending large amounts of time with it. Almost a majority of all my readings were being done with it. I was just so mesmerized by the way that the colors worked and how they morphed into each other and the different transitions that happened and all that different stuff, right? So, but there's one deck that showed up, and it was only very recently, only within the last couple weeks, that knocked Tarot of Color out of its, off of its throne position. And now it's this deck, and this deck is, it kind of came out of left field. I wasn't really expecting it. Wasn't really, I wasn't thinking about buying it, one, and two, just the whole deck just didn't resonate with me. It didn't call to me, but now I'm like, holy crap, like I'm really enjoying it. Really have developed a deep bond with it. And I'm very happy that things happened the way that they did and it made its way to me. So without any further ado, let's get in here. Let's look at some decks. I look at some different things. Like I said, it was a busy month. So by this point, if you follow me, you would know that I got a vintage deck haul from a yard sale, right? Two of the decks, I've kind of dabbled in all of them. I couldn't leave them unshuffled and never used. So every single one I shuffled, I woke up, I did a couple readings with, and then I packed back away or put up on my shelf or whatever, right? But a couple of them stayed out. These two right here, which is hilarious. So, and I don't keep putting it back in its box because I'm going to destroy the box, but it's staying out of its box. So the Thoth, which this is my very first time ever owning a Thoth, and the Rider Waite, the yellow box Rider Waite that I ended up getting in that haul. Sorry, there's cat hair all over everything. And it's funny, right? Because these are the two systems that are constantly competing that, well, at least I feel are constantly competing. It's like, do you read Thoth or do you read RW, right? Like, I feel like that's kind of where it's at. But the funny thing is I feel like, and I don't want to sound weird when I say this, but I feel like I'm kind of outgrowing the RW, if that makes any sense. I feel like, and sorry, my phone just went off. I thought I turned it off and I did not. I feel like I'm getting into this. It's the heavy symbolism. It's like the occult properties. Oh, here we go. Sorry. We're going to have a visitor, Nova, as usual. Well, if you're going to sit down, you got to sit down or you have to leave. Either which way, you got to do something. All right. So it's I don't know, it's the symbolism. It's the, like, the equal parts of light and dark in it. It's the whole Aleister Crowley's thing behind it, right? Like, I don't know, there's just something about this deck that I feel is so much more mature and so much more deeper and esoteric and like, I don't know, I feel like there's just so much more to this deck. Not saying that the Rider Waite doesn't, but I feel like the symbolism is thicker in the Thoth and there's secrets and like when you're holding it in your hand, like it actually feels like there's secrets. There's like so much hidden stuff in these cards. And I've fallen head over heels in love with it and I absolutely adore it. So I've been really reading with it, and I like the way that it reads, and it reads very different than the RW. And I don't know how to explain that, but it does. It reads very different than the RW. So this world, though, the world of Thoth, like, this is a rabbit hole I've fallen down of. I've purchased a couple of Aleister Crowley's work, his books, different things like that. I'm just really enjoying the different levels and the different things that are coming forward. Now, this is the smaller deck, right? Obviously, this is the one that's like the normal tarot card size, a little smaller maybe. I'm gonna say, yeah, see, like, it's smaller than the RW. Um, and I find the artwork is so detailed and so intricate that I ended up doing myself a favor, and I ended up buying a vintage copy of this deck. It's on its way to me right now as we speak. So once it gets here, like, I'm super excited. Once I got my hands on this deck and I started spending time with it, I was like, okay, where has this been all my life? Like, I don't know. It felt like coming home, if that makes any sense. It felt like coming home. Even though I have never read this, even though I've never owned a Thoth deck, it just felt so like an extension of me. So I'm going to start studying and spending a lot of time with the Thoth deck. I do have Thoth based decks that are the similar system, right? Or adhere to the similar system, but they're not a Thoth deck. I haven't experienced the artwork of Lady Frida Harris, and I don't know, like, this Tower card. Where is it? I keep seeing it. That is insane. If I can get it to focus, my cat's gonna rub on it. It's insane. Don't you think so, Nonies? Isn't it insane? Such an amazing deck. The artwork is astounding. So yeah, like, that rabbit hole I have fallen down, and I'm like, bye everybody. If you need me, I'll be deep in Thoth books and learning all about the symbolism and the different things that are happening on those cards. It just is amazing to me. However, now, this deck right here, I've been doing readings with my clients throughout the month, and the reason why I'm doing it is because I actually have two copies of this one. I have one that's not opened, and then this one, right? But I keep going back and forth about selling that other one, and I don't know, I have to decide. Am I going to keep this as a client deck and then keep that other one for me and open it? Or am I going to try to move that one on and sell it and keep this one for myself? I have no idea. I haven't decided what I want to do yet. Um, but I'm thoroughly enjoying reading this RW. I like the saturation. I think it's amazing. It's bright, it's gorgeous. Like the Centennial, I have the borderless and the bordered edition of that deck, and I don't know. I like it. I like its muted tones. I think it's amazing. The card stock for that one is better. But so I use this one in a reading with a client, and the funny thing is I kind of didn't like it. I kind of like knowing that, okay, so knowing that I have that other one listed to sell, I didn't like people touching this. If I was keeping that other one for myself and I was going to use this one with clients, I would have been okay with it. But at this moment in time, that other one is listed to sell. So this is my only copy, and I don't like people touching it. So I have to decide what I want to do about that. Because people are like, I let my clients touch my cards for the most part, and it was getting dropped. It was getting like smashed, the edges getting smashed into each other, and I was just like, every time I was like, ooh, can you please, like, I wanted to say, like, can you please not do that? Like, can you please not handle my deck like that? Can you be gentler? Like, I don't know, it bugged me. So I have to decide what I'm going to do about this. I'm either going to use this for clients and keep that other one for myself, or I'm not okay with using this with my clients. And at that moment in time, I'm going to have to just stick to my Centennials, right? Because that's what I use for my client readings. And they work really good. I like it. I like my RWs for my clients 100%. Its delivery is softer. Its method, it's familiar cards. People have seen these everywhere. They're used to the images. And, I think that it's good. But at the same time, now that I mention that, I'm going to touch on a subject and I'm going to use, you know what? Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll save it for another video because there's something that I want to talk about when it comes to reading with clients and different things like that. So I'll actually save that for a whole completely other video because it's going to be kind of a little bit of a rant um, and a rant and a ramble. So I don't know. I'll save that for another video. Let's just keep this one about what I've worked with for August. All right, so I'm going to put this one away. But this is really hard to do when you have a cat sitting in your face. I can't like reach anything. Oh my God. Okay, we'll continue on. As usual, I have to work with the Klimt Tarot for August. It's mandatory. I don't know why. That summer sun gets hot. It gets fiery Leo and Virgo energy, and everything starts to kind of like the summer's rolling down. And I have to work with this deck. There is something about this deck. It calls to me during August and September, as well as sometimes in December. So I don't know. I love this deck though. I really honestly do. I love its readings. I love its color palette. I'm a big fan of his artwork, right? So I mean it makes sense that this calls to me. I just like how they used the gold. I think the way that they created this deck and the gold embellishments are so well thought out and so well placed. And it's just like, I don't know, it's phenomenal. I really do. Like, look how beautiful that card is. And you've got all the gold, shiny stars, and like moon shapes. It's so beautiful. It's so rich and elegant feeling, right? And like my Egyptian stuff, yeah. I mean, who doesn't love Egyptian stuff? Well, I mean, maybe not everybody, but I do. I am infatuated and have been since a young girl with the world of ancient Egypt. So, yeah, like it's like I don't know. I love this deck. So this one I've been turning to on occasion, not as much as I usually use during this time of year, but that's because my time is being used up with the Thoth and with this deck right here. All right, so what deck is this? Well, if you watch my channel, you would know that I ended up getting a trade and I ended up getting the Crow's Magic Tarot. I wasn't really seeking this deck. I wasn't really looking for it. I had a deck for sale and someone asked me if I would be interested in a trade for Crow's Magic Tarot, and I was like, meh, I never really thought about that deck. I've seen it. On occasion I watch Astral Ladies Tarot. She talks about this deck a lot. And I've seen it on her channel. And that's about it, right? Like I haven't seen it really on anything else. You know, I'm glad I accepted it. Yeah, like like the cards were heavily damaged. They're looking really good now though because I put carnauba wax all over them. That was another video that I just released not too long ago about breathing some life back into this old gal. I knew I was getting a damaged deck. I knew I was getting an old deck. I knew I was getting one that had been used and then put away and into storage for many years. I knew what I was getting. So when I got it, I was very much like, I was either going to fix it or it was going to end up going in the garbage because it just, it was so foggy. The front of these cards were so foggy that you almost couldn't even see what was happening in the pictures. So that Carnauba wax, and I'll link that video like up here or maybe in the description box. I probably won't link it up at the top. I don't like when people do that. I find it very distracting. So I'll link it down in the description box and make that easier. So when you're done this video, you can go and check it out. It reads so good. I bonded very deeply with it, almost done, like almost immediately. And I don't know if I'm picking up on the former owner's attachment to this deck. And you probably are thinking to yourself, well, if it was in storage for a long time, how is the person even attached to it anymore? And I get that. But the person was really attached to it, even though it was in storage. And it was kind of a difficult thing for them to do, and was to let go of this deck and in a trade for another one, right? They kind of felt like they were backstabbing it, I guess, in a way. So, but it ended up with me. And the thing that I did not know about this deck is I didn't know that it had all these ancient Egyptian, I don't know what you call them. I don't know if this is their like if it's like coinage or if it's like a seal that they use on something. But the weird part is, and I'll show it in a second, is I have a necklace that was gifted to me many, 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 many years ago that I've never seen anywhere else on anything else. But it's in these cards. It's this right here, like pretty much exactly these, whatever you want to call them. So I don't know. It was insane. It has animals, a lot of animal energy, a lot of nods to Egypt. I find it, I love it. I didn't think I was going to like it the way that I do. And this has become an everyday and every night reader for me. I keep it in that bag because it doesn't have a box anymore. The box was disintegrated. I don't have a book, so I don't have anything to go off these cards except my intuition and just the words down here at the bottom. A lot of them I agree with. Some of them I don't. Right? Some of them I'm just kind of like, whoa. But I don't read it. So at first I started trying to read it like an RW, right? Doing my associations with like what I know about the Three of Coins, right? But then I started thinking to myself, but here's obviously to kind of its own system, right? So now I just take these keywords and I read it as this deck, not what I know of as an RW based. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense. But I read it for what it is. I don't read it like I would an RW. So that has kind of changed things a lot. It's extremely accurate. I mean amazing readings right off the get-go. I'm going to go grab that necklace piece. I want to show it to you guys. All right, so this is what was gifted to me. And if you can see, let me see if I can get it to stay. If you can see, it is pretty much, it's not going to show up so great. It is pretty much what you are seeing on like these cards, right? How crazy is that? This was gifted to me. And you know what the funny thing is I can't even remember who gave this to me. I think it was one of my girlfriends in early college years that gave this to me. I can't really specifically remember, but I think that's when it was. Either that or I picked it up at a flea market or something. But I can't remember how I got this. I'm almost positive someone gave it to me. But then to see them in these cards, I thought that was so bizarre. And the minute I saw them, I was like, oh my God, that's like that necklace I own. Yeah, it's not exactly like the markings on these are not the same as these, like the cartouches and stuff that are on this, but it's the same shape. It's kind of got the same idea. I'm just looking for the one that has the big one right here. Like, it's kind of the same idea. Like, I don't know. It's weird. And I was just like, how the heck does that happen? And like the funny part is like I said, I I've never really seen this before on anyone else or anywhere that I've gone in any of my journeys. Like, this is very much just like, I'm sure there's stuff out there. I'm sure someone's got something like this out there, but I've just never encountered anything like it other than this and in here. So I just thought it was really weird. But I'm really enjoying reading this deck. I'm really enjoying spending time with it. Like I said, it's been by my bedside every night since it's arrived, and I love it. It reads really good at night because of these white borders. It allows for you to distinguish where one card ends and another begins. And because these images are like the neon colors and then these bright, bold patterns and stuff, they stick out in the dark. So I don't know. Like I said, I've really enjoyed reading with this one. I connected with it way more than I thought I was going to. And now I'm kind of like, maybe I should consider getting a deck that's not so beat up. But I'm actually really quite bonded to this one. And I don't know. I don't know if I want a newer or better shape version, right? So I'm loving this one. So Astro Lady, if you're out there listening, I love this weird deck too. And I wasn't expecting it, and it just kind of came out of the blue. All right, so now I went on this. So there's this local witch shop here. You know what? I'll put this right here so we can see it. So there's this local witch shop that all right, so there's this local witch shop that was having a huge end of the summer sale blowout, and me and my niece decided to take a little day trip. It's a distance, it's a little bit of a drive from us, not too far, just a little bit, and we ended up deciding to take the day and to drive out there, hit the sale, see what's up, grab some items if something speaks to us, and then come home. So because it was their end of the summer blowout sale on top of their anniversary sale and a whole bunch of stuff, they were giving out different door prizes, there was different treats, there was all kinds of stuff happening, right? So because I purchased what I purchased, this was my gift, and this was a free tarot card deck. The funny thing is this deck has caught my eye in the past, but I just never ended up purchasing it. And it found its way to me. I read it, I looked it over, like read the book, I mean, but I didn't shuffle these. I haven't used them yet. They're very interesting pieces of art. Like, I don't know. They're really interesting. I like the way the book is, and I'll show you that to you guys in a second. I love how this Hierophant has got his back turned to us. That is amazing. And then in the Lover's card, he has his back turned to us as well. And he has been stabbed through the chest with an arrow, and the head of the arrow is sticking out of his back. Like, how cool is that? And I don't know, I was quite taken with the artwork. It's so beautiful. Like this Wheel of Fortune. The cards are matte, which is, that's pretty nice, right? I don't know. Like, look at Temperance. Like, how beautiful is that? And the detail that is in these drawings. Oh, so beautiful. I love the star with all the constellations. Oh, it's so beautiful. The moon. The sun is kind of meh, but it's really cool. I don't know. I like this deck. I thought it was really neat, and I'm glad I got it for free. So apparently, it was meant to come my way. It's majors only, but I like how in the book it's just like a phrase, like a little small poem. All right, so let's see. Let's pick a card and see what one wants to come forward for this video. Oh, I got two. Okay, I'm going to read the Strength. It was the Hangman was the other one that popped out. But let's read the Strength, which this is a crazy card because I have never seen a strength card depicted where the guy is like comforting the lion, holding him, but then like stabbing him and killing him at the same time. I have never seen a strength card depicted like that. So it was really quite interesting. All right, so we've got my world is not of sheep, but ferocious beasts who flee my fury. And the word that goes with it is courage. I like the words that they chose. So for fool, the irrational side, magician, the rational side, the priestess, knowledge, the empress, the feminine heart, the emperor, the masculine mind, the hierophant, faith, the lovers, feelings, the chariot, victory, justice, bearing responsibility, the hermit, meditation, the wheel, chance, strength, which we just read, was courage. The hangman is voluntary sacrifice. Death, the unexpected. Temperance, beneficial care. The devil, temptation. The tower, human arrogance, which I thought that was really a neat depiction, right? The star, hope. The moon, illusions. The sun, the truth. Judgment, the end. The world, love. I don't know. I thought it was really neat. I really liked it. When I read all these little phrases that come with each one of the cards that's in this book, it was, I don't know, it changed it for me. And I was just like, wow, like I really like this deck. Once again, majors only. So a lot of people are like, well, what the heck do you even do with majors? I'm okay with doing major only spreads. Works for me. I don't mind it. So I will probably use this deck once it gets into rotation or I'm drawn to use it. I don't feel like I'm quite there yet. I wanted to shuffle it the other day, but I decided not to. And I was going to just keep it for you guys to look at and see. And then maybe now I'll shuffle it and spend a little bit of time with it. All right, so at that witch shop that I was talking to you about, that metaphysical shop, I ended up getting some really cool things. So this was one of the items that was on sale, and it is a little cast iron cauldron, right? It's heavy. It's got like, the interesting thing is, I don't know if you can see it, it's got a pentacle or pentagram with a crow on it, which I thought was really interesting. It's got this beautiful, I don't know if it'll pick it up, this beautiful big smoky quartz point, these beautiful dried flowers in it, and it's a candle that you can burn, and then once you're done with it, you have this wonderful little cauldron. So I don't have a small cauldron. I have a huge working cauldron. So I don't know how they did this. I have to get it back in there now. I have a huge working cauldron. So I don't know. I was kind of really interested in getting a little working cauldron. I thought that was really cool. So I ended up grabbing myself this. Obviously, like I said before, I got that deck. Let's put this into the camera right here because it's so pretty. I ended up getting that. That deck was part of the gift of my purchases. And then I grabbed this, which I thought was so beautiful. So it's called The Rabbit, and it's messages from the spirit, so spirit animals, right? And it says rabbits are symbolic of abundance, intuition, and transformation. And it's got this beautiful picture of a rabbit on it. And then in the top, if you can see, it's got these beautiful clear quartz crystals, this little grass tuff, which looks like a bunny tail, and a whole bunch of like little dried herbs and things in it, and it smells divine. So I ended up grabbing this for myself, and the reason I did was because we have We have a lot of rabbits in our yard, like tons. And they have babies here, and the baby bunnies stay here, and then they grow up and leave. So, like, the rabbit energy is very strong in this yard and in this space. So, I was really drawn to grabbing this because I have, like, I don't know, it just made sense to me, and I loved it. Like, these two little clear quartz points are so beautiful. This one's actually twinned. It actually is a double terminated end. I don't know if it'll pick up in the camera. It's like right there, 2 points. And then this one's actually double pointed too. So I've got two twin crystals happening. How cool is that? I never even noticed that until I just looked at it. And like, I don't know how I'm going to burn this because it's so beautiful. I don't want to wreck it, right? Like, obviously I'll have to get this out or that'll catch on fire and all these little things will catch on fire. So I'm not really sure how to do that, but I don't think I want to burn it. It's so pretty. At least not for a little bit. Like, I just got it, right? So I'm going to enjoy it and like look at it and have that, right? Yeah, so that was the 2 candles I got. I got a whole bunch of wax melts that were on clearance. I ended up getting a nice heavy sweatshirt. I'm trying to think what else I got from there. I think that's about it. I don't think there was anything else. Oh, and I got the one more thing. I got a big brass stand for my great big huge honey calcite crystal ball. I'll grab it and I'll show you guys. So this is it. So I had this on like this little stand and it kept tipping over, and this thing weighs a lot. It is a serious crystal ball. And so I ended up getting this brass. It's kind of like I think these are supposed to be dragons. Yeah, they're dragons. But it's heavy duty and it is well made and it is solid, right? It's beautiful. And this gorgeous honey calcite sits in it perfect. And it's now secure. Here, if I can see if I can tip it to the side and show you guys what it looks like. Like, look how beautiful that is. So I ended up grabbing that and I was like, oh man, like, I wasn't planning on it, wasn't looking for it, but when I saw it, I was like, okay, that is amazing. Because like I said before, this was on a little stand and it was so tippy. And if this thing falls and hits you in the feet, it would literally break a toe. It is insane. So yeah, I needed a good stand for my beautiful honey calcite sphere. Oh, I love this crystal ball. It is so nice. But yeah, so that was kind of like my shopping excursion. Spent way more than I wanted to. However, I do not do that very often. So it was kind of a little treat to myself. I've been working hard this summer. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of readings, a lot of Reiki sessions, different things like that. Like, so I decided to treat myself, and I had a nice day with my niece and we had a lot of fun. So that has been my August. A couple decks here and there, but mostly working with Thoth and the Crow Magic Tarot. They've been dominating the scene, so those are the ones that I've been working with the most. Did a little bit of a shopping splurge for myself. And yeah, so that's kind of where my August went. It was nice and cool for a couple days. Now it's ridiculously like record-breaking heat again. It's so disgusting outside. That's why these lights are all on and it's kind of shadowy in here, is because I have the window curtain closed because it's 90 plus outside and it's disgusting. And the trick with living in a 120-year-old decommissioned church is to trap the cold air and to block out as much sun as possible, because once this place heats up, it is a lot of work for my air conditioner to get it back down to temperature. Just some of the wonderful little things that you find out when you buy an old church that you never really thought about before. It's very different than living in a home. Very different. And I kind of knew that was going to be, right? One doesn't buy a 120-year-old decommissioned church and not think about it's going to be a little difficult or a little different, right? Because it most definitely is, but to a level that I kind of wasn't expecting, a little to the extreme. But that's okay. We've been here 5 years now and we're doing pretty good. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, give me a subscribe. Subscribing is super important if you want to receive my videos or even just show some support. I'll see you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching.